everyone, so this video is a tutorial video that was requested for me to do by a lady that I know. Her daughter is going to be in a ballet recital and she's not very good with makeup, so she wanted some tips on how she could do the makeup on her daughter. Now she is quite young, but they are still asked to wear a lot of foundation, blue or green eyeshadow and pink lips. Now her daughter preferred blue eyeshadow, so I've stuck with the blues. That way we can give her what she wants. Now the products that I used apart from the blusher are all drugstore products, so they are easily accessible and they should be accessible in the UK. So a lot of the brands are Revlon, Maybelline, CoverGirl, Rimmel, and most of those colours will be available in any of the lines. So if you go in, I would recommend any of those brands. They're all fine to work with. And you can see how I've achieved this look. I hope it helps, and keep watching. So because foundation is required for this look, and that was actually specified that even though she is a young girl, they are to wear foundation. Now, it was requested that I keep it to drugstore because of course you don't want to spend a heap of money. So what I would recommend is either Rimmel, they have some good foundations, or the three that I have is Revlon Photo Ready, Revlon Colour Stay, or CoverGirl True Blend. Now the Revlon colours will give you a little bit more coverage, but I recommend that in all three cases you do get some form of a powder that will set it. I like CoverGirl's powders and they are actually quite affordable, and that way you can just set your foundation. I do like the Photo Ready if you are planning on having photographs taken, and it also works well under stage lighting, but just make sure you get a colour that is going to match her skin. So what you want to do is pick the foundation, put it on. I'm really not wearing that much because it's just for the purpose of the video, but then after your foundation you want to set it with a powder, just like CoverGirl powder as well, and that's going to hold the makeup on all the way through the dancing. Now the first step is going to be the eyes, so what you want to do is get a little bit extra foundation, as you can tell, and just place it across the eye area. What this is going to do is help the eyeshadow stick to the eyes, and it's going to act like a base, so you don't have to go out and buy a separate base. Now the colour I'm using is from a Maybelline Eye Studio set. It actually came free with a mascara that I purchased, so I made sure I picked out the blue ones because I thought it would be perfect for this tutorial. Now it's got quite a royal blue. I'll open it up so you can see it. It's got a royal blue, a greeny blue, a highlight colour and a black, which will work well for a liner colour. I'm going to be mixing both of these two because considering the eye was a blue or a green, these will work well together. And I think Rimmel also has a blue that's a bit similar. It's got two shades of blue in it. You can also go for a paler blue and just follow the application technique, I guess. It depends on what you have available, but these Maybelline palettes are still available in drugstores, and this was about 16 Australian dollars, but I think it's a lot cheaper overseas. So what you wanted to start with is first to get the light greeny blue colour on the end of an eyeshadow brush. Now you can use the applicator that comes with the eyeshadow, but you're not going to have as much control. So I would recommend that you go and try to find a very basic brush set that has an eyeshadow brush, a blush brush, an angled brush, and see how you go. Manicare, the nail brand, sells a couple of brush sets or a couple of brushes that you can put together, or Eco Tools, which is available in a lot of countries around the world. But I'm sure if you go into your drugstore, you will find some brushes. So I'm just going to show you the shape, just so you can get an idea of what you should be looking for. So something like this, it's a flat, quite thick brush. This is going to work well. It can be a bit smaller considering her eyes are going to be a little bit smaller than mine. So you can get a brush that's slightly smaller. But what you're wanting to do is push the brush and press the bristles into the colour, kind of working it into the brush, and just tap off any excess, just like that, so you don't get as much fallout. Now there might be some which just means that you'll get a bit of colour underneath here, but don't worry, you can clean it up afterwards with just like a Q-tip or a cotton bud. So with that light colour, you're wanting to apply it on the lid about 3/4 of the way from the inner corner outwards. It doesn't really have to be that neat because you can clean it up and we will be blending. And that's the first colour done. So it's kind of like a greeny blue colour, and what we're going to use now is the darker blue. So you're wanting to get that more towards the tip of the brush and just packing it on. And then tapping off any excess. Now this colour is going to go on the outer corner. So you just want to get your brush just in the corner and just dab it on. Don't swipe it, just dab. Just like that in the corner. Now you can blend it in by swiping it very gently into the other colour and working it across the crease. Just like this. Pulling it across. Just like that, and you want to follow your natural eye shape. Now it is easier if you're doing this on somebody else to get them to look down, and that way you can find where the crease is, but you'll feel it. Now for the next step, you can use the applicator that comes with it or an angled brush. So I'm going to use the applicator just to show you how it works. What you're going to do is get the darker colour, the blue, just on the edge of the applicator, and you're going to want to line just about the outside third of the bottom eyelid, like this. Just kind of tapping it and joining it up. Now what you can do is get the lighter colour and again put it on the end of the applicator. If your applicator has two sides, I'd recommend using the other side so you don't get a darker colour mixed in with it. And apply it to the middle, like that. And we can clean it up, so don't worry if it's not neat. And the inside, just dabbing it. Now what I would then do is line the eye, the top eyelid, with just the black colour and an angled brush. You can just use an eyeliner if you prefer, like a pencil eyeliner, but I figured because we've got a black in this palette, I might as well use the palette. So you just get it on the end of the brush, like that, and pat it on. And then apply it. I normally start from the centre and kind of just pat it on. I find eyeshadow as a liner is a lot easier for me to use. And just kind of drag it out. Now the last step is to do a little bit of blending on the eyes as far as eyeshadow goes. So you're wanting to use like a white shimmery colour, and you can get it on the end of a fluffier brush. You can use a flat brush like this, but if you can get a set that has a brush that's slightly more fluffy, this will work better. So again, just tap it into the colour, tap off any excess, and you want to apply this just to the brow bone area. So just tap it on and lightly blend it in. So when you're blending, you want it to do very light strokes, like so. It just softens the edge of the colour. And then just keep blending until you're satisfied with the results. So just small strokes, dragging out the colour and blending it together. Now what you can do to add a little bit more pop to the eye is just get that highlight colour on the very end of the fluffy brush and get it into the very inner corner and just apply it lightly and dragging it up. That way it doesn't show up as very well on camera, but it will show up in real life. It adds just a bit more colour and depth to the eye, just on the inside, and it kind of makes the eye look a little bit brighter. So that's the eyeshadow done, and I know it looks a little bit full on, but on stage and under bright lights it is going to not look as dramatic. What you want next is just a white eyeliner. This step is optional, but it will make the eyes stand out a lot more and make them look a lot more open. Any drugstore brand that sells a white eyeliner is fine. So you're wanting to just lightly hold down the eyelid and line the under the lower waterline. Now, if people are using false eyelashes for the recital, you can use false eyelashes. If not, just a couple of coats of mascara. I would also recommend getting an eyelash curler, which you can find in drugstores. You can find them for a couple of dollars. If you don't have it, just a couple of coats of mascara is fine. So the mascara that I used was CoverGirl Lash Blast Length Mascara. I used about 3 coats, I think it was, so it's a lot thicker than I would normally wear it, but that's okay when you're doing stage makeup. I would also recommend that even if you're not going to get this particular mascara, that you do get a waterproof mascara, because under stage lighting it can get a little bit sweaty and you don't want your mascara to start running. So I don't have any pink drugstore blushes, so I've used a MAC one here. This is Pink Globe. This is more just as a colour reference. You should be able to find quite a few drugstore brands that have a pink colour. I would suggest sticking to a matte, not a shimmer, and getting quite a hot, girly pinky pink colour. Now what you're going to want to do is get it on the end of your brush and get whoever you're doing it on to smile and find the apples of their cheeks and just work kind of halfway there and pull it up, pull it back a little, just like that. Now it does depend on their face shape, but normally if you do it like this it's not too bad. So smile, find the apple and then pull it back just a little, not a lot. Now you can work it into the apples a bit more, so just find the apple again and build it up. Now you can work it back across the contour and just building it up to the desired colour. So the next and the last step is the lips. Now for this there's 3 lipsticks that I've chosen because I'm not quite sure what's available over there in the UK, but I'm guessing Rimmel is. So I've chosen a colour called Celeb, or it's 028. That's it there. It's kind of like a very vibrant rose petal pink. The other colours are NYX colours. So we have Sky Pink and Baby Pink. So Sky Pink is that pink there and Baby Pink is the one on the end. So you've got a choice of 3. You should be able to find quite a few pink lipsticks. I also like Maybelline lipsticks as well, but I don't have any bright pinks or pinks in Maybelline. So this one is the Rimmel one, which I've chosen to use because it kind of goes with the cheeks and I think it complements the blues that I've chosen as well. If you are going for more of a pale blue eye, it's still going to work, but that's up to you. So just apply it to your lips. No need for a lip brush or any of that fancy jazz because you're doing it on a family member anyway. I'm sure they're not going to mind. And that's the lips. So to make the lipstick last a little bit longer, what you can do is put 1 layer on, blot it off with a tissue and then reapply. That will just make the lipstick set and last a little bit longer. Now what I would also recommend to finish off the look is defining your eyebrows. So you can just choose an eyebrow pencil, which you will be able to find in a drugstore. I know Rimmel does a couple, and so do a couple of the other brands. You can also use an eyebrow set, which is normally like got a powder or a gel or a pencil. You'll find a lot of brow sets in a drugstore, so even if you have to ask the sales assistant for some help, you will be able to find one that matches. But I think it is important to define the eyebrows because they can get lost under the bright lighting. Still keep it to the natural shape, don't go too overboard, just light strokes if it's a pencil. It is easier to use a powder, and you can use the angled brush. So what you would do is just apply it into the powder and work it in small strokes onto the eyebrow, and that does give a more natural finish, but it's still going to stand out because you are defining it. So overall it's not going to break the bank, but it's still going to be a look that is bright and will stand up to the harsh dance studio lights. So I hope that she has a wonderful, wonderful time. If you have any questions at all on how to do this look or any tips that you might need, please feel free to ask below. And I hope this was helpful. So good luck to her, and I hope she has a heap of fun, and don't stress, I'm sure you'll do a good job. It's really not that difficult. If you get stuck, just use this video as a reference. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys again really, really soon. Bye.